We've only got 800 machines connected to it, but we'd have to get a license for 65,000 machines. Sort of like that. You can only build garages on your house that'll either fit one car into it, or else you have to build a garage that fits 10 cars in it. So if you become a household that needs 2 cars and you want them both in the garage, you got to build this humongous garage on your house. You got all that wasted space there, right? That's what it was working here. With that approach, that we had 16 million hosts available used here. $16,000, right? 65,000 hosts on this one. And 254. And you only had 126 of these networks. And you had 2 million of these. And 16,000 of these. Think about where we ended up with our inefficiencies and the number of networks you know about today. Because you've got networks everywhere. You don't just have networks in larger organizations, which was what they created this from. I've got a network running there in my house. Some of you may have networks running in your house. Okay? And think about how many people there are in the country on that. And every little business has got a network running there. Rapidly, and then think about it worldwide. This isn't just the U.S., this is the entire world. This approach wasn't going to work any longer. However, you could look at addresses and tell what class they were. If y'all get on the network here, and if you did an IP config on the machines in this room, you discover that we're on 10.3, I think it is, .0 dot, and a number, okay? This is what you'd see your numbers as. It's got a number 10 in it. Which one does that make us? The network that they've got an address of in the room? A, D, or C? Which? A. 10. Okay? That if you've got a 10, you're on class A. Now, what they also did was they came up with a set of addresses that you could just use in your own little private network. Say they were private addresses available to you. Won't work out there on the internet. You gotta have something to convert them if you're going to go onto the internet. But if you just used them in your organization, you weren't connected to the internet, which was the original purpose of it, was you want to set up a network, you weren't going to connect to the internet, but you wanted to use legitimate addresses, and where if by chance you ever did connect, you wouldn't mess up anybody. Because guess what? 2 different organizations in the world can't use the same network address. Everybody's got to have their own correct address. So they went and assigned certain addresses in each one of these cases. If you see networks that have an address of 10, that is your Class A private addresses. If you see on Class B, 172 addresses, you're looking at that you've got a private address that's a Class B private address. So that you can get as large of a private address as you felt like you wanted. And a Class C1, that one, the wrong one, there's going to be a 192.168 address. And notice the examples I've kept using in class, and that if you look in your book and you look in other books, quite often they're going to throw you a number of it's 192.168 point something point something. They're not using anybody's real address as their examples. It's sort of like when you look at phone numbers, if you go and watch a movie, what's the phone